In the wake of the disaster at our home, Lita Chandler, the red-haired woman from my parlour, lays out a tale that, even in light of what I've just witnessed, strains the limits of my belief.
The creatures in your home, she claims, are called ghouls. Cruel beings who plague crypts and caverns and tunnels beneath the city of Arkham. These creatures feed on the corpses of humans, and they're served by a dark cult within Arkham whose members have inexplicably come to worship the ancient master of the ghouls. This cult has been killing innocent people and feeding them to the ghouls, satiating a monstrous hunger. A dark balance was maintained until now. One of their lairs where the corpses were stored was destroyed. Since then, the ghouls have been more active than usual. I've tracked their movements and tried my best to stop them from running amok throughout the city. But I think there's something worse going on. The cult has been planning something darker and more ominous than I've ever yet observed. Indications are that this plan shall come forth to fruition tonight, shortly after midnight. Beyond that, I cannot fathom what to expect. Many of the cultists will seem like everyday people, despite their foul intentions. Whenever the cult meets, its members don masks shaped like the skulls of various animals to protect their identities from one another. These masks are our mark, symbols of death and decay. We must unmask the cultists to expose and derail their plans. We have but a few hours. The more cultists we find them before midnight, the better.
So Lita, she's forced me to burn down my house. We're now on the trail of some of these cultists bearing masks of bones from dead animals. Tonight's act, uncovering the conspiracy. We have one night to find the members of this cult and unveil their plan. The more members of the cult we can find, the better. And Lita seems convinced of a conspiracy within the city of Arkham. She believes that a secret cult serves the ghouls that live in the crypts beneath the city, and that several of the cult's prominent members are scattered throughout Arkham. As we begin searching for them, I can't shake the feeling that I'm being hunted. Tonight, episode 2, The Night of the Zealot. We search throughout the city of Arkham in all the various locations to find these masked cultists and bring them to justice. I'm drawing me cards. Wrong cards. Drawing the other cards. Starting with 5 resources. I'm haunted with the nightmares of my house burning down, so I start with less sanity than I had last time. Instead of 6, I only have 5. Again, I get to take 3 actions, starting in Rivertown. The banks of the Miskatonic River are lined with docks, warehouses and small shops in a district supply, amply named Rivertown. There's something unsettling about the water tonight. It ripples and bubbles as though something is moving beneath the surface. It starts to play with one clue. Maybe. Hands are a bit sticky. I believe I'll play my flashlight. My first action. Costs 2 resources. Comes into play with 3 batteries. I'll be sure to use those up. I also drew Lita Chandler herself. She'll help me in the fight against the monsters. That's 2 actions. Well, we can spend 2 clues to uncover the conspiracy and draw a new cultist from the cultist deck. So perhaps I should find that clue in Rivertown. Rivertown has a shroud value of 1. It's well lit at night. I have an investigation of 2. I got to -3, and if I fail, place one of my clues on a location. Well, I don't have a clue to lose, but I still failed my action. So that's the end of my turn. So now we move on to the enemy phase. There are no enemies about, so we move to the upkeep phase. I'll draw one card and get another resource. Now it's the Mythos phase, putting one doom on their agenda. 5 more and it advances towards their next target. I also have to draw a card. And it's an enemy. It spawns in my location in Riverton. A hunting night hunt. So it immediately becomes engaged with me. While attempting to evade the night hunt, double the negative modifier of each revealed chaos token. Yikes. Not looking forward to that. How do I beat it? I don't know. Alright. I get 3 more actions. Do I evade the bugger? It's just going to follow me wherever I go. Suppose I should try and fight it. Let's fight it. I'm going to play Overpower. Gives me +2 combat. If successful, I get to draw a card. Brings my total combat to 5. Lita makes it a 6. Oh. A critical miss. I don't take any damage yet because it doesn't have retaliate. Just wasted an action and a card. I think I'll try and fight it again. This time I'll be playing my Switchblade. Fight. If I succeed by 2 or more, this attack deals +1 damage. I have a fight of 3. 4 with Lita. And it'll do a total of 3 damage. This time I got a 0. I beat him by 2, which means it deals 3 damage. He's got 1 hit point left. Almost seems like a waste of time fighting this monster. But it has to go down. Fight it again. I have a combat of 4. +0 is 4. Thus defeating the monster once and for all. Now I have a special ability. Allows me to spend 2 resources and take an additional action this turn. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, since it seems my turn has been pretty much wasted. Spending 2 resources to use the flashlight. My location gets -2 shroud for the rest of the investigation. I have to put this token back in the bag. Almost forgot. Can't be cheating now. -1. That allows me to successfully get this clue from Rivertown and place it on my character. I'm out of resources. So I have to call that the end of my turn. Now it's the enemy phase. There are no more enemies, we've vanquished them. The upkeep phase. Ready all exhausted cards, and each investigator draws 1 card and gains 1 resource. Mythos Face plays another Doom on the agenda. 2 out of 6 in 4 more rounds the agenda will advance. I've not done much this turn. Now we have to draw an encounter card from the deck. It's a cultist, which is what we want. Spawn any empty location. Suppose we can forest. After Acolyte enters play, place 1 Doom counter on it. Now these Doom counters count against the 6 needed to advance the agenda. But if I defeat it, then it goes away. Looks like I'll be headed to the university next turn. The reason I didn't spawn it in my location is it said spawn any empty location. I've got my cords. Let's go fight a cultist. First action is going to move to Miskatonic University, which will reveal the location. Miskatonic University is one of the most prestigious colleges in the Northwest. The university library is famous for its collection of occult books maintained by the esteemed Dr. Henry Armitage. The campus is quiet and lonely. Several of the buildings have been left unlocked for students and faculty working late into the night. 2 clue tokens. A shroud of 4. And a cultist. Looks like we'll be fighting a cultist this round. That is my first action. He's a combat of 3. He's not a monster, so I don't get any extra damage from Lita Chandler, but she still offers me +1 fight, which makes me a 4 against the cultist 3. So I think I'll spend my second action fighting the cultist. I have a total fight of 4. The skull token minus X. X is the highest number of doom on a cultist in play, so -1, making it a 3. Was defeating the cultist. He only had 1 hit point. To put them in my pile of cultists. Once I have 6, I can advance my act. For my last action, I believe I'll be investigating. I'll take the flashlight. Lower the shroud by 2. I need a 0 or better. It's a -2. No good. Another failed investigation attempt. Harder than it looks. I think for my third action, I'm going to gain a resource. I'm running low. And that ends my turn. It's the monsters phase, the enemy phase, there is no enemies. Now the upkeep phase. I gain a resource. And I draw a card. Place 1 doom on the agenda. Halfway there. Then an encounter card. Another cultist. Spawn any empty location with retaliate. We'll put him downtown for now. Well, I try to investigate the clues at Miskatonic University. First action. Pay 3 resources for a machete. Gives me the ability to attack with +1 for this attack. And if the enemy is the only engaged enemy with me, I get +1 damage. Looks like the cultists won't be living too long tonight. Second action. Use the flashlight. Give the location -2 shroud. It's now at 2. Again, I need a 0 or better. It's a 0. Successfully gained 1 clue token. As an action, I may spend 2 clue tokens and draw the top card of the cultist deck, adding another cultist to the city. The question is, do I want to do that? Or do I want to leave one at a time with my machete? Oh. At the end of the Mythos phase, this was supposed to get a Doom token. It's now at 4. Well, we need the cultists, so I'll spend the 2 clue tokens to spawn a unique cultist known as Ruth Turner. Ruth Turner spawns at St. Mary's Hospital. After she's evaded, add her to the victory pile display. To St. Mary's Hospital you go, Ruth Turner. Deal with you in a moment. That was my 3rd action. Takes us to the enemy phase. Any enemies with hunter move. There are no hunters. Each enemy that's engaged attacks, there are none. So now the upkeep phase, I gain 1 resource. 1 card. And then a Mythos phase. Place 1 Dunam on the agenda. Now there's 5. First I draw a card. An encounter card. And it's a Hunting Shadow Curse. I must either spend 1 clue or take 2 damage. I have no clues to spend, therefore I'm taking 2 damage. Ugh. Down to 6 I go. Alright. Let's go defeat some cultists. Going to move from the university to downtown. Downtown should have 1 clue token. There's the ability to gain 3 resources once per game as an action. There's a Wizard of the Order cultist. At the end of the Mythos phase it got a Doom token, pushing it to 6, but it's already past the time it checks for the threshold, so it will advance next Mythos phase. I think I'll be using this machete now. To fight, I get +1 fight for this attack, +1 more for Lita Chandler, +3 for my regular combat. That makes me a 5 against a 4. So since he's the only enemy I'm engaged with, it will do 1 extra damage. Got to put the token back in the bag. Again, I fail. -3. He does have retaliate. I take 1 physical damage. That was unfortunate. I'll try fighting him again. This time I'll use my skill Vicious Blow from my hand, discarding it for +1 fight, and if it is successful it'll deal extra damage. So that's 1, 2 for Lita, +3 for me is 5. I just need a -1 or better. I'd really like a critical success because I need the resources. But it's a critical failure instead. That's 3 actions. He has retaliate. He's going to deal me 1 more physical damage. I'm really hurting now. That's 3 actions. Things aren't looking too good this evening. I'll leave it at that. That's the end of the investigation phase. Enemies with the hunter keyword move towards me. Then each engage enemy attacks if able. He attacks me for 1 more physical damage, taking me down to 3 health. In the upkeep phase, gain 1 resource. Draw 1 card. Mythos phase. 1 doom on the track, and it advances the agenda. It's the Masked Hunter. Spawn engaged with prey, whoever has the most clues. Me, I have none. Spawn's engaged with me. As is the Wizard of the Order. I've got quite the mess on my hands. Time is running short. The minutes pass quickly as my investigation continues. 8 Doom tokens will advance the agenda fully, but there are already 2 on the Wizard of Order if I do not defeat him. The Masked Hunter gets +2 health per investigator. While you're engaged with the Masked Hunter, I cannot discover or spend clue tokens. I have to figure out a way to defeat him. This is not good. I think... take my first action, drawing a card. Second action, we'll use the machete to fight the Masked Hunter. Oh, I have no chance against the Hunter. Well, I do. He's 6 hit points. How do I do this? Let's do the Wizard of the Order. Can't get that unlucky. +1, +2, +5. Discard a card to make it +6. Defeated him. 2 damage. Does not hit me back, and he goes into the cultist pile, making it 2 out of 6 needed. And I removed 2 doom tokens from the agenda. That was my first action. Second action, I drew a card. Third action, I have to attack. I have to attack him. I don't know if I'll survive, but here goes. I've got 4 attack to his 4 attack. It's a straight up fight. Wish he was a monster, I'd deal extra damage. I did not, I failed. He doesn't have retaliate, so he doesn't deal his damage to me. Yet. He will deal his damage to me now in the enemy phase. I take 2 more physical damage. And 1 mental damage. Down to 4 mental and 1 physical life. Add a doom token. 1 of 8. Get a card and a resource. Well, I've got nothing left but to fight. I need to deal extra damage. So let's start with the machete. +1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Need a -1 or better. Could really use a critical hit right now to gain resources. It's a -2 and place 1 doom on the nearest cultist enemy. My attack was a 3, 4, 5, so I failed the attack. And he gets 1 doom. I think I should evade him. He's just gonna come after me. Huh. It's harder than it looks. The decisions are tough. But time is running short. I have the ability to resign and come away with what information I do have. It's not much. Attacked and failed. My last breath. Oh, I think I should resign. Run away with what little life and sanity I have left. So I'll do that. I head to safety with the information I've gathered. And call it an evening. So let's see what the resolution says for when I resign. I've managed to obtain some useful information about the cult and its plans. I can only hope it's enough. I earn experience equal to the victory X value of each card in the victory display. There is no victory points in the victory display. I get no victory points. I don't get anything exciting except a big old pain in the rear for the Devourer Below, Part 3. We'll be bringing you Part 3 next week as we solo play Arkham Horror, the card game, Night of the Zealot campaign. Thank you for attending tonight's solo play campaign. I do apologize it was short, but the enemies were tough, and I was not tougher. Have a good evening.